everybody. This is Jeff Cowan coming to you from thejeffcowan.com, and I want to start out this year by saying Happy New Year to everybody. We're already in 2018, and let me tell you something about 2018. It is going to be an outstanding year of opportunity. It's going to be, it has the potential to be your best sales year ever. So, we're going to talk about that today in my podcast, my weekly podcast, Success in Professional Sales and Success in Life in General. We put it out every Tuesday. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back and watching. So, 2018 has all the earmarks of being something really, really special, but there's a problem. 2017 was just a great year for you. 2017 was just a great year for you. It was a really good year for you. Maybe it was your best year for you. And now the pressure's on to repeat. And repeating success is extremely hard to do. I mean, let's take a look at some numbers here. Do you know it's been 14 years since somebody's won back-to-back titles in the NFL, back-to-back Super Bowls? You know it's been 16 years since somebody's won the Indy 500 back-to-back 2 years in a row. I mean, that's a long time. And you know, it even gets a little bit more interesting here. You know, it's been 18 years since somebody's won back-to-back World Series titles. I mean, repeating success for a lot of people is a very, very hard thing to do. And I've seen it happen tons of times. I've been around hundreds, if not thousands, of sales organizations at this stage of my life, and you'll see somebody win Salesperson of the Year, and then their next year kind of peters out, and it goes sideways. It's not just as good, you know. It's just they go backwards a lot of times. Or I see people have a good month. You know, maybe they win Salesperson of the Month, and they have a string of 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 months before they have any type of success again. Because success is hard to repeat if you don't follow some simple steps, you know. And so sometimes, you know, when we're talking about success, we're going to be talking about 2018 and how to make it your best year, even if 2017 was good. But what dictates the time frame we'll discuss here in a second. So, but we first got to get to what allowed us to have such a great sales day, a great sales week, a great sales month, a great sales year in the first place. Okay, because again, the time frame typically is dictated by one thing. So what allowed us to have such a great day, week, month, or year? Well, number one, we had a burning desire to hit a goal. Right? I mean, you had a burning desire. Nothing was going to keep you from hitting this goal, burning desire to hit a goal. Now, what dictates the time of success is usually dictated by the goal you're trying to hit. For example, let's say that you have a good sales day or good sales week. You're one of those people and then you disappear. Well, what happened? Well, you probably had something like Valentine's Day is coming up, for example, right? And everybody likes to take their significant other out to a really nice place. And let's say this year you really want to take your significant other out to a really nice place because they really want to go because you love them so much, right? And they probably love you, so they probably deserve it if they're putting up with your crap. So you're going to take them someplace nice, but the problem is the place you want to go to is the most expensive place in town. And not only is it expensive, but man, you got to valet park the car, you have to have the right clothes and all that stuff. So you work, and you make that happen, and then there's no other goals. And then maybe you want to take the kids on a vacation, so you have to have 2 or 3 months where you need to make 20%, 50%, or 100% more. So you work, make that happen. Or for the year-long goals, maybe 2017 was your best year because you had a burning desire to do something big, like get a really special car or new house or something like that, right? And you know, I know this is what makes it work because me and the wife, before we got married, this is my second wife, Candy, love her to pieces, but before we got married, we knew we needed a house. We wanted to buy a house, right? And we had a vision of what type of house we wanted, and we had a vision of where we wanted it to be and all that stuff. But once we started looking at the houses, we realized we saw in each other's eyes that this wasn't really good. This really wasn't what we wanted. We wanted something bigger. We wanted something a little bit more prestigious. We wanted to be in a certain area and the whole thing. And so we created this burning desire within ourselves to get this house. And I tell you what, we did. It's a beautiful house. It's in the Southern Hills down here in Southern California, up on the side of a mountain. I mean, it's a gorgeous house, but we had a burning desire to get it. So when you had that burning desire to take that special person out to that Valentine's dinner, those kids on vacation, you had to work hard to get that new car or house. How did you do it? Well, you sat down, you created a plan. And probably the plan was simply based around training more than anybody else did. You made more phone calls. You sent out more emails. You sent out more texts. You upped your advertising. You knocked on more doors. You got in front of more people. In short, you worked a little bit harder, but you had a plan and you followed it and you executed it because you had that burning desire to succeed. So when people do that, why is it so many times it's hard for them to follow it up with the salesperson of the year next year or have the same financial rewards they had this next year or 2 months in a row, whatever? And the answer is real simple. It's because they stopped doing what got them there in the first place. So, how do you keep yourself from falling into this trap? Well, I'm going to share that with you here in a minute, but before I do, I got to share with you something here about a company called Lightspeed VT. This is what they gave me for Christmas. Isn't this cool? My sponsor. I opened it up. It was really wrapped nice, and it's a framed picture of their logo. Here's why they're important. Lightspeed VT, business owners and managers. Let's say you've got a bunch of training that you've created over the years, you bought it over the years, somehow you got all this training, audio or video. Well, what Lightspeed's going to do is they're going to introduce you to a platform, going to put all your logos on it so it looks like it's just for your company, because it is, and you can put all that training in one spot. And then they're going to show you how to break it up into 5 and 10-minute segments so it's easy for your employees to watch. Now, you're not just going to put sales on it, you can put everybody on here, right? And then, here's the icing on the cake, they're going to set up a testing mechanism for you, so now when your people watch it, you can tell when they take a test whether or not they really understood what you're trying to teach. Because right now, you put in a DVD, you have them watch something online, you ask them whether they like it, yes. Did you learn something from it? Yes. Is it going to make you better? Yes. And then what happens? Nothing. Why? Because they really didn't get it. This is going to show you where to put your efforts in training. But you say, we don't have any training. Well, call Lightspeed anyway. They have access to niche trainers for industries. They have every major trainer in the world is on this platform, and they will help you get that person's training if you want it. You just simply call 702-369-4260. Again, 702-369-4260. But you're an individual. You don't own a company. You're not a manager. You just want to get better. Call Lightspeed anyway. They'll set you up with a platform, set you up with all this training so you can train yourself. And when you call them, tell them the Jeff Cowan from thejeffcowan.com told you to call, because they'll give you a big fat discount, and if you're real nice and suck up to them like I do, they'll send you a framed picture of their logo. That's going above the fireplace. No, it's not, but that's what they think. So, you had a great 2017, maybe a record year, and now you got to match it and probably even do better. So how do you not fall into the trap where you go backwards or get stagnant? Well, there's 5 easy steps, and here we go. Number 1, reset your goals. That may mean increase your goals, find new goals, find different goals, but reset your goals. You got to have a burning desire to make the money, because here's something I've learned about people. If people don't have a reason to spend the money, they won't make the money. And there's typically 2 things that will motivate people to make more money. One is tragedy, and I don't want you to go create tragedy in your life, because that would suck, S-U-C-K, suck. Or having goals that they're so excited about, they'll do anything within the legal limits of the law to make it happen. A burning desire. Now, me and the wife learned that this was important. And I'm not bragging when I say this, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant here, but every year I do better than I did the year before, because I follow what I'm getting ready to show you here, these 5 steps. So we set our goals. Let me give you an idea of what we do. We like to vacation. So every December we will sit down and we will decide where we want to go. And we keep going to a little bit nicer places, and we keep going a little bit longer. You know, first it was a week, then 10 days, 2 weeks. Now we're looking at 3 weeks vacations. And when we go, we upped how we fly. We fly business class to Europe. You know, we've seen some really cool stuff. And we stay in some really, really nice locations. Now, we just don't sit down and say we want to go here and set it as a goal. We get online and we book this stuff, and we either put it on a credit card or finance it somehow and then start making payments on it. It's not a question of if it's going to happen. We now have to make the money because we're responsible for paying for this stuff. We'll walk through our house once a year, once a month, and we'll look for projects, because we quickly learn when you get a house, man, you got to take care of it. And you want to make sure you have the most modern conveniences that's comfortable, right? So we'll walk through the house, and we'll make a list of things we need, like we might need a wood floor here or there, so now we got to get that, so now we got to start working a little bit harder to make sure that happens. Or here, most recently, what I did is I switched out all the lighting in the house. We went to LED bulbs, and I just didn't get LED bulbs. I had to have the ones that change colors. Why? Because it's cool. And so I had a burning desire to get that, and I got that. I have my goals. And then family projects. I'm famous. My wife gets so mad at me for doing this, but I'm famous to go in the grandkids and say, guess what? Pop's going to take you to Disneyland here in about four weeks. Now, why do I do that? Because number 1, I want to take them. Number 2, I know I'm going to have to drop $1,000 every time I go there, because it's not cheap to go those types of places. And 3, because my grandkids are never going to let me forget. I told them that. I mean, they'll come over and say, Pop, when we going to Disneyland, when we going to Legoland, when we going to Universal Studios, when we going to Florida, when we going to Hawaii. And so you got to reset your goals that you have, that you want to accomplish. You have a burning desire. That's really important that you do that. You have to have a reason to make the money. And commit. Even when we did the floors, you know, we got online, we bought the floors, and we were paying on it before they came in and laid it. So it wouldn't matter if we were going to do it. We had to do it. We had burning desire to do it, and it's fun. That's number 1. Number 2. Don't allow things to get in the way. You see, when you're successful like you were in 2017, people are going to notice. And people are going to want you to go to meetings with them. People are going to want to take you to lunch. People are going to want you to train new people. People are going to want you to go out and help them with different projects and stuff. And that's okay, but make sure that when you agree to do those things, it's on your terms. Here's what I mean. Every sales organization I ever worked for, I typically, and I'm not bragging when I say this, it's fact, and I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but I typically worked harder and smarter than everybody else. I trained myself to be prepared for any situation I might find myself in, because that's what professional salespeople do. So I typically rose to the top very quickly. So they always wanted me to train the new people and train some of the people who have been there. And I always did it under these conditions. I will, you like to train your people from Monday through Friday from 8 to 5? Well, that's not what I'm going to do, because see, then I wouldn't be able to do what I need to do. So if you want to train the people, they need to come in at 5 in the morning, and we'll work until 8 o'clock, and then I will stay after 5 o'clock for another 2 hours. That's how we'll train them. I'll come in on my weekday and my days off, and we'll train them there. So I'll train your people, but I got to be allowed to do what I know made me successful. So don't allow things to get in the way. Stay on your plan. Keep fired up. Get that burning desire for those goals. Number 3. Think about those around you. Think about those people around you. They count on you. You see, when you sell products, somebody has to make that product. Somebody has to box that product. Somebody has to ship that product. Somebody has to drive that product to where it's going. Somebody has to run the invoices. Somebody has to post the sales. There's office staff. There's all kinds of people that count on you. And so now that you had a great 2017, what do we know about you? You're capable of performing at a certain level. So guess what your team's going to depend on? Their livelihoods, their kids, everything depends on you not only matching that, but exceeding that so they can have a better life. So think of those around you, all right? Number 4, avoid arrogance and a sense of entitlement. Now, this is the one that gets most people in trouble because, hey, I was salesperson of the year last year. I made more money than anybody else. I'm the one that's at the top of the charts all the time. And boy, somebody owes me this, somebody owes me that, or now all of a sudden I deserve to go play golf on Thursday afternoon. I don't have to work occasional Saturday because I'm going to go out on my boat. And all of a sudden they start getting very arrogant. They get a sense of entitlement. And here's what you never want to forget. I've talked about this in other podcasts. Nobody owes you anything. So what? You had a great year. Congratulations. Raise your glass up and celebrate with your friends, celebrate with your family, celebrate with your coworkers for a couple hours. But then you got to get up, you got to go home, you got to go to bed, you got to get up the next morning, you got to go work as hard as you ever have because nobody owes you nothing. Just because you make more sales than anybody else, that company didn't owe you every hot lead that walks through the door. Just because you had more sales than everybody else, nobody owes you a vacation and going to pay for it or give you a weekend off or days off. Nobody owes you that. You're not entitled to anything. Nobody owes you anything. Get up and go to work. Don't get arrogant. I'm telling you this from the heart. There were times that I went in, I sold a lot, I got arrogant, and I started taking, things for granted, started taking people for granted, started taking the situation for granted, and then I wake up and all of a sudden I had a bad month. I can't allow that to happen. I can't allow that to happen. So don't get arrogant. Nobody owes you nothing. You're just doing what you're supposed to do, okay? And then number 5, I kind of gave you the answer right there. Number 5, do what you did before, but more of it. So stick to your plan, whatever it was you did in 2017, stick to what you were doing, do it exactly the same way, but do more of it. Now, when I say this in a class, people sometimes roll their eyes and say, well, I'm already working all these hours, I'm already making so many phone calls, I'm already sending out so many emails, all this stuff. Well, I'm not talking about you have to increase your workload by 5% or 10% or 50% or 100%. If you can, then great, do it, because there you're going to have an unbelievable year. I'm just talking about a 0.5%, 1%. I mean, to be at the top of the sales board, all you have to be is 1% better than the guy at second, right? Okay, so what I'm talking about is maybe you make 50 phone calls, so make 51 phone calls. Maybe you're in the habit of sending out 100 emails a day, send out 102. Maybe you're sending out text, send out a couple more texts. Maybe you should knock on one more door. I can't tell you how many times at the end of the day when I've been so tired, I just couldn't wait to go home, and it was time to go home. I'd done everything I was supposed to do, and I picked up the phone and made one more phone call and got the biggest deal of my life. I can't tell you how many times I came in on a day off when I really just wanted to be at home and relax and all that stuff. I came in and worked a few hours and got one of the biggest sales I ever got. Do what you did before, but do more of it. One of my favorite sayings is, if you want to increase your income by 50% like that, this is a simple way to do it. Work every day of the month like it's the last day of the month, and you need just one more sell to hit your bonus. I mean, that's what I'm talking about here. So again, let's revisit the reset your goals. You got to have a burning desire to accomplish what it is you want. I don't care what it is. Reset your goals, okay, and get a burning desire. Because if you don't have a reason to make the money, chances are you won't. Number 2, don't allow things to get in the way. Number 3, think about those around you who depend on you to sell this product. Number 4, avoid being arrogant, avoid being entitlement, all that stuff. You know, nobody owes you crap. And number 5, do what you did before in 2017 because you had a great year. Do what you did to have a great year, but do more of it. So, this is the Jeff Cowan. I'm getting ready to sign off, but as I do, I want to tell you this. I want you to get excited. I want you to get fired up. I want you to keep coming back to my podcast, Success in Professional Sales and Success in Life in General, because over the next year through 2018, I'm going to give you tips, techniques, closes, processes, all the stuff you need to have the best year ever, because 2018's got that written all over it. It's going to be the best year. I'm going to have my best year. You're going to have your best year. Let's do this together so next year at this time we can celebrate and start working for the future. Hey, this is Jeff Cowan from thejeffcowan.com. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends, like me, subscribe to me, and I'll see you next week. All right? With that, have a great day and have a great 2018. Again, Happy New Year, everybody. See you soon.